Men of right now who still have the opportunity to connect with their children better do so because as they get older in life, reach retirement age, they might not have a connection with their children or grandchildren. This woman says, am I the a hole for telling my dad the real reason why he's not allowed to babysit? She says, throwaway account because some coworkers know my main, and this is rather personal. English is not my first or second language, so I apologize if I'm not expressing myself clearly. She's 34. She says, I, 34-year-old, am the eldest sibling of four, and my son is 2.5, and is the only grandkid of my father, who's 69. Me and my husband have been work from home and caring for our child ever since my maternity leave ended about a year ago. It was okay at first because we both have flexible schedules, but about a year in, we realized this arrangement was not the best for our mental health. We decided to hire a nanny Monday and Tuesday so that we can go into the office, socialize with adults, and work uninterrupted for a couple of days a week. The woman we hired shares the same parenting ideas and has a 3-year-old who she brings to our house on the day she babysits. We're extremely happy with her, and our kid always looks forward to spending time with them. My father, retired, is extremely unhappy we don't just bring the child over to his house and leave his grandson with a literal stranger instead of family. The thing is, my father knows nothing about kids and is unwilling to learn, claiming he's already an expert. He hasn't changed a single diaper in his life. He was the kind of father that comes back from work, eats dinner, scolds the younger kids for 15 minutes, and retreats to his office to drink whiskey and read for the rest of the evening. Ever since my son was born, dad has been given unsolicited parenting advice that is borderline insane, like telling me to potty train at 4 months and mocking my parenting choices. I've put up with him only because I know how hard it's been for him since mom passed away 3 years ago, but I would never trust him with my kid. This weekend, he came over for dinner and we had a huge fight about the nanny situation. I lost it and basically told him I never leave my son alone with him because he's incompetent to a point it's dangerous to leave a child alone with him. He got offended and told me he knows much more than I do because he raised four kids. This is where I might be the a hole. I told him he didn't raise us, mom did. Asked him what my brother was allergic to, when my birthday was, and similar things, just to prove a point. He did not answer and stormed off. My husband thinks I might have been a bit unnecessarily harsh. I admit to having raised my voice and mocking his so called parenting on purpose. And my sister thinks I'm the a hole for talking to dad like that since he's been struggling ever since mom passed away. So, am I the a hole? Absolutely not. This is where these people, these authoritarian people, forget that their children turn into adults as well. And adults that have different parenting styles, different beliefs, and some of these people are not willing to let go. Now, he came into her home and thought that he was about to run things and needed to be put into place. And she tried to tiptoe around him. She tried, and then he just stepped a bit too much out of line, and she had to put him back in his place. I say not the a hole. He, I wouldn't leave my child with somebody that never did anything for their own children. That is absolutely crazy. So I say not the a hole. And once again, when women create these not the a hole posts, they are simply looking for validation for what they already know is true. She knew she wasn't the a hole. But mocking her dad might have been a little, I mean, could be a little stepping the line, but still, not the a hole. This person says he was not a father and expects to be a grandfather. Talk about being out of touch with reality, not the a hole. And then the OP comes in. I think he's just bored and feels disrespected. He's retired and widowed. He has nobody to boss around anymore and is upset we don't entertain him on a daily basis. He wasn't interested in my life at all while he was still working. And this person says that's a him problem. If he's bored post retirement, he needs to get a part time job or a hobby. If he feels disrespected, maybe he needs to check if he's treating others with respect because it doesn't sound like he's respecting you or your husband. If he needs someone to boss around, maybe he should take up SEX work as a dominant or life coaching. What he shouldn't do is pretend he's some sort of parenting expert and rail on you because you hired a part time nanny. You are doing what is best for your son, not the a hole. And this is the reason why I started this by saying men of right now who still have the opportunity to connect to their children better do so. Because once we get into our lives, we are too busy to sit up and try to tiptoe around your feelings because you don't have anything to do. You not cultivating relationships is going to bite you in the butt in retirement age. So I'm going to leave it at that. The comments pretty much say not the a-hole. So you guys weigh in what you think about this. Actually, I need to show y'all this one. This person says your child is not his emotional support animal. And that made me chuckle. So you guys needed to see that. All right, now I'm officially ending this one. This woman sounds like she married a narcissist, or at least he has some tendencies. And I want you guys to listen to this and tell me what kind of narcissist this might be if he is one. And once again, this is another Am I the A-hole thread, and a woman simply looking for validation because no, she's not the a-hole. She says, Am I the a-hole for crying at dinner? I cried at dinner at a restaurant tonight while out with my husband. They're both 40, for a late Valentine's dinner. We have 3 kids, and it's rare we get to go out for dinner. Our marriage has been rocky lately. Tonight we hired a babysitter, dressed up nice, and went to a very fancy restaurant together. We brought our baby, but we lucked out and she slept most of the time. My husband was ticked off this morning that I tried to tell him how tired I was from the baby being up, but that I was looking forward to tonight. He was annoyed that I said I was tired, even though I only had 2 hours of sleep last night. I stupidly expected some empathy, I guess. Well, he doesn't do empathy. I was upset he was so cold. I told him if he was going to be negative, I didn't want to go. He has been yelling a lot and has trouble controlling his temper. He raises his voice over every little thing and yells at our kids too if they don't behave or spill water. He promised it would be nice tonight, so we went. We get to the restaurant and he immediately starts acting strange, like a rich snob or something. I don't know how to explain it. He starts talking about ordering the most expensive steak on the menu, $140. And I was like, "Really? Oh wow, I guess." Then he got then he got pissy with me for acting like that was too much. Yes, in my opinion, it's too much to spend on a steak, but I didn't say it. We are not rich. I joked about how bad the economy is right now, and yet the expensive restaurant was full. We always talked about crazy expensive stuff lately in life, but this time he just glared at me. Anyway, I wanted to have a nice night, so I smiled and changed the subject. He is gluten and dairy free and kept asking me questions about the menu, so I was telling him all the things on there that he could eat as I had looked it up before we go there. He gave me a sour look that I didn't understand. I asked him if he wanted to share a few appetizers. Waitress comes and we order. Then, when I tried to toast him with my glass, he was already gulping his down. Then he sat with a sour look. I asked him what was wrong, and he started going off on me about how we should just order what we want, and why did I have to tell him about the menu and talk about it? I was taken aback. I don't know. I always talk about the menu with friends, and when we are out, I thought it was just fun conversation. He said we should just order what we want without thinking about each other. Okay. Then he was silent for a while. I had a gift certificate to the restaurant, so I took it out and put it on the table so the server would know we had it and so I wouldn't forget. My friend had generously brought it for us for Christmas. He snarled at me and told me to put it away. I asked why, and he mumbled something I couldn't hear. I had enough, so I asked him what his problem was. I asked him why he even came out with me if he wasn't going to try to have fun. He didn't answer. Then he went to the car to get something. I started thinking about our anniversary last year and how the same thing happened. We went to a special dinner, and I told the waitress I didn't want any wine, thanks. We were at a resort with free drinks that I was very happy with, and the wine was $80. He got so angry that I wasn't ordering wine and making it special that he didn't talk to me for the rest of the dinner, and I left crying then too. The last 2 nights out this year, he sat and ate his food without talking to me. I started to avoid date nights because it was so bad. He kept complaining that we needed to go out for dates more, so I arranged tonight. Yes, we have discussed marriage counseling and have a workbook to do, but whenever we plan to do a page, he picks a fight to avoid it. Or so it seems anyway. He avoids communication at all costs. When he got back from the car, I was determined that tonight would go better. So I laughed and smiled and said, "You're lucky this drink is so strong. I'm feeling so happy." He said coldly, "Maybe you should drink one every morning then," without looking at me. That hurt. I changed the topic to his friends that live a few hours away, asked him how they were doing, and suggested we visit soon since it's been a while with COVID and we had two babies. It's been busy. He snapped at me and said I didn't want to see them, so I should stop pretending. I said they were his friends, not mine, but I wanted him to be happy, so I'm happy to go and talk to the wives and kids, or I can stay at a hotel or at home while he drinks with his friends, whatever he wants. He snapped again and told me he doesn't believe I want to go, so forget it. Why would I suggest it if I didn't want to go? It was so frustrating. I couldn't say anything right. We are planning a trip, but he clearly wasn't in the mood to discuss that either. I told him he was being really negative. He ignored me and talked to the baby. Food came and I ate in silence. After half an hour, he started talking. Talking to me about the steak, and I answered, but nothing else. No real conversation. He started raising his voice and saying he would just get a takeout box to go if I didn't want to talk to him. I had said I tried to talk to him, but clearly I can't say anything right. I stared out the window and started silently crying. It was so hurtful. I told him we really needed tonight to go well since it's been rough between us lately. He was verbally abusive during the pregnancy and was very selfish. He was stressed, so he took it out on me by picking fights and yelling a lot. He said he was depressed and started medication, but it's been 6 weeks and he still acts like he hates me. When I tell him that he acts like he hates me, he just shrugs and says, "Obviously, I can't change your mind," like it's something I imagined. He's always annoyed that I have any feelings, wants me to be emotionless. He always claims it's not his fault. I didn't intend to be mean tonight, didn't intend to ruin it. Like that makes a difference. End result is the same. I cried silently behind my hair, just thinking about how nice tonight would have been with someone who actually wanted to be out with me, actually wanted to talk to me. I had pictured a nice evening, great conversation, and great nookie when we got home. I feel stupid for imagining that. That hasn't been the case for us for years. He ran out of the restaurant and left me to pay the bill with his card. We share finances, married 12 years. I cried in the restaurant and the whole way home, silently, but he was annoyed that I had tears. I guess he thought that if he was mean to me, I would try harder to make him happy, even though he knows I don't respond that way. Does he just hate me so much that he hates being out with me? He's always telling me angrily that we never have date nights, but the last three that I arranged, he ate his food in a hurry and ignored me or said negative, mean things, and I cried. He apologizes after, but it's usually, "I'm sorry if you were hurt. I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to ruin things. I'm sorry I was negative, but it's true." In my opinion, these aren't real apologies, and I say that. Then he gets mad instantly again and yells that I'm not accepting his apology. He drove the babysitter home, and now he's texting me a lot about how it's not his fault and I'm the a hole for not accepting his apology that he made at dessert time and too late to save the night. So, am I the a hole? Am I just too sensitive? Okay, so then she starts to give more info. Yes, all three babies were planned and wanted. He said he wanted the third one, very much so, but as soon as I was pregnant, became verbally abusive and cruel, screamed at me for hours before one of our ultrasounds, stormed out frequently. It has taken a huge toll on this marriage. Also, his depression and anxiety really started to get bad after COVID. It's been 2 months since he started his meds. I thought they maybe were working a bit until last night. Same old crap. Looking back, there were red flags. Earlier in the relationship, he would be mean for no reason, ruin holidays and birthdays, but very rarely. Over the years, it became more often, and he became less kind and loving, less supportive of my work. And once we had kids, resentment started to build with both of us, as he did not want to do any cleaning or much baby care. There is a high level of contempt for each Others sure. I mean for sure. And he stone walls and is defensive. Yes, this is very long. Update. This morning, he pretended nothing happened. He was extra nice, looked after the kids, bought me coffee. When I tried to discuss it, he got angry that I was bringing it up. He said he had apologized and I should just accept it. It was my own fault that the night was ruined since I didn't accept his apology at dinner. It was also my fault since I had pissed him off in the morning by complaining. So he was in the mood. He was in a bad mood at dinner. All my fault again. He has reason for everything. He claims he does not hate me and wants to stay married, but he said it with anger, not love. He refused to discuss it anymore. My 10 minutes is almost over. This sounds like a Darvo situation, but I want you guys to chime in. I think that we all agree that they should just get divorced. She doesn't need this for the rest of her life. Y'all can read the bottom paragraph if you wish. Like, comment, share. So this should be an interesting discussion question. This was in the 2X chromosome subreddit. She says, how do y'all really feel about casual nookie? And then, you know what? I'm going to say smex, like my girl Mel Hamlet says smex. She says, I've been telling myself that I'm okay with it my entire life and only just now getting to a point where I realize how awful it makes me feel afterward. I'm smex positive and absolutely not judging anyone who enjoys anything, just wondering if anyone else is realizing the same. I think it's almost a compulsion for me, like self harm or something. As soon as I like someone, boom, I feel like I have to put out. And then afterward, I hurt so much. Edit. By casual, I don't mean specs with strangers or one night stands. I mean specs with someone outside of a committed relationship or where parameters are not yet defined. Okay, so this person says, my own friends and I were talking about casual smex the other day. The consensus was it was that past casual smex was generally unsatisfying at best. One of my friends said that she often felt like a stand-in for a hookup's real crush and later realized that she usually felt the same about him. Most of us agreed that the best mix is with an attentive partner in a relationship and that it's best to wait a little while and get to know someone. One friend was the exception. She says she loves it whenever she is single. This person responded with, friends with benefits is great as long as both people don't forget the friends part. And then somebody says, right, friends care about one another and can handle the repercussions once they get in a relationship. If you cross the friends boundary into SMEX, you can't undo that. This person says, that's interesting. I find when I develop an interest in a specific person, I largely lose interest in SMEX with other people. And someone else said, me too. This person said, I tried a few one night stands, but it was garbage. Friends with benefits is a better situationship. This person said, never effed with the concept because I want so much more from the people I choose to share my body with. And then the OP said, how do you resist? It's so hard. A, if I'm attracted to someone, I want to sleep with them. And B, I really am so afraid of their reaction if I don't do it. It's almost like the post mix rejection is less painful than it would be before. I'm not sure why though. And this person said, for me, it's never been that hard. Men make it so easy to not want to have smix with them. And I've never been someone who is easily interested in anybody like that, man or woman to begin with. So I'm wondering, like I said, I'm just using this as a jump off for a conversation starter. Where do you land with casual smix? Today, it doesn't seem like men and women are um, on the same page with dating. Dating seems atrocious these days. So I would think that casual smix is going down as well. So weigh in. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I have a really long Reddit post with a couple of updates. This started 10 days ago. She says, a planned pregnancy turned my husband into a monster. It feels like a cruel, cruel joke. Years before I met my husband, I was in such a toxic, abusive relationship that it almost ended my life. I spent years in therapy, bettering myself, figuring out why I accepted that type of love. I stayed single for years. And once I started dating, I made sure to keep an eye out on all the red flags. Heck, I even took things slowly when there was nothing but green flags. Thanks to my ex, I was familiar with love bombing. I met my husband at a work event and things just fell into place. This is where she could have gone wrong right here. I opened up and explained my past trauma and let him know that if we were going to date, that it would require a slow pace and patience. I won't say that he was perfect, but he was always kind, compassionate, and cared. Ladies, don't tell men your past trauma. Don't tell them. They will seem compassionate until they get their hooks on you. Don't do this one. We dated for about 5 years, engaged for one, and married a little over 3 years now. We recently bought our second home together. We both got promotions at work. So we sat down and talked about kids. He wanted a big family. I only wanted one or two. We agreed on two and started trying. It didn't take long, and here I am, 6 months pregnant, still working, have swollen ankles, and a back that won't stop aching. Other than that, I've been very happy and have what I thought was a supportive husband. 3 weeks ago, I found out he was having an emotional affair, and honestly, probably a physical one. When confronted with the evidence, he admitted to not being attracted to me while pregnant. I'm wrecked. I haven't gained unnecessary weight. I'm still taking care of myself, even with the morning sickness that hasn't gone away. He's not sorry about it, but you told me that I was being over dramatic when I cried. He is staying with his family until he can find a home to rent. He doesn't want to get a divorce. He's saying that after the pregnancy is over, we can go to therapy and fix things. I don't want to. I cannot physically look at this man in the eye anymore without feeling disgust. I have a text from him saying that he's my only option because no man wants to date a single mom. I'll be talking to a lawyer and figuring out how to divorce him. I just wanted to vent into the void today. For now, I'm going to DoorDash some nuggets and a Frosty from Wendy's and be okay if I gain 5 pounds from it. Thanks for listening and well reading, I suppose. I'm making an edit. I'm not sure this sub will let me do an update post. I was told I'm not allowed to change the locks due to it being his home as well, and he came over last night knowing there wasn't crap I could do to prevent it. Thankfully, he only grabbed some personal belongings, threatened to take the dogs, he did not, and let me know he emptied our shared account. Part of me rolled my eyes and figured he wasn't dumb enough to do that, and the other part made me make a mental note to check once he left. Sure enough, our account has maybe $5 in it. He did a transfer, which I'll be calling the bank about and speaking to an attorney this afternoon. Thankfully, my dad taught me don't fully mix finances, so my savings wasn't capable of being touched. And while it's not a lot, it's enough to pay for the fees over the next few weeks. I don't have any family left, so I think he's doing a power play to make me feel like I'm alone and need him, when in all reality, it's lit a fire under my butt that I don't want or need such a garbage person in my life. Thanks to everyone that's reached out with comments, kind messages, and helpful advice. So, this is the update from 5 days ago. She says, I wanted to do an update with how many people took the time to send messages, leave comments, and share their own personal stories, which especially helped me to not feel so alone. As mentioned in an edited post, I was not allowed to change the locks on our house. Okay, so we already read that part. This part, he showed up the day before yesterday completely drunk, begging to talk, increasing in anger when I would just ignore him and walk away. It kept increasing, so I went to grab a bag and walked down the road to a neighbor's home so I wasn't alone. He grabbed my arm to stop me, and when I yanked it away, he slapped me, almost a backhanded open slap. The cops were called. I didn't have a mark on my face, so it was my word versus his. They escorted him off the property, and I'm only now assuming he's back with his parents. He did throw a fit about the dogs and does have proof of ownership, so I'm guessing he'll be able to take them. Went to leave for a drive to clear my head after everything and realized 3 of my 4 tires were flat. I know it was him, but I don't have proof. Insurance won't cover it, so going to a tire shop on Friday morning, just another drop in the bucket. As for the attorney, I have my consult and I'm waiting for my check to come in for my actual appointment and to get this ball rolling and moving on this. There's not any family left, and a few close friends are kept in the loop, but I don't want to burden them or treat them like unpaid therapists. So I think that's why I came back to Reddit. Something therapeutic about just typing it all into the void. The baby and pregnancy is okay. I've actually lost weight, and the doctor told me to avoid stressful situations and to take things easy. I'll be calling to see if I can change the locks on the home now. And if not, I'm going to start looking for places. And this was from a day ago. Pregnancy turned husband into monster. I'm moving. Final update. I changed my locks. Figured if he'd get the law involved, I just used pregnancy brain and being forgetful to give him a spare set. He broke in late last night. I was able to contact the police before I confronted him, but due to location, I knew it would be a bit. I tried walking by him to leave the house, but every time I would, he would shove me, once hard enough to make me stumble and fall backwards. The eerie part is he never once yelled, threw things, one of the items causing an emergency room visit requiring stitches, said the most vile things. He hated me. I should take myself out, how useless I was, etc. Never, yet never once raised his voice. I'm not saying that in a good way. I wish he would have yelled. It was a fight or flight instinct, and found mine was to freeze. I hate that for myself. He was arrested, and his mother already bailed him out. I'm staying at a hotel thanks to a work advance and looking into apartments. I won't be stepping foot into that home we shared until my best friend is here, and even then, it will be with police being with us. Nobody can figure out what made him change almost overnight. Only thing I'm guessing is a psychotic break, but I'm not a therapist or a doctor. Besides some ugly bruises and some stitches, myself and the baby are fine. My lawyer feels like this is enough to get a protection order for myself, which will include the pregnancy and baby. Next time I see him, it will be at court. Sorry, I'm rambling. Maybe this doesn't make sense. For now, I'm safe, can sleep good for the first time in weeks. I have the dogs. Nobody is aware of where I am besides one close person and the police. So this has already been long, but this woman says that she is a women's health RN. She says, please update the hospital you're delivering at and the OBGYN on removing his info as next of contact. Remove him as a visitor or place restrictions on your account if you have preliminarily signed up at the delivery center. Put alerts on all accounts and lock your credit if you haven't already. So I'm just saying that so that other people, if you are in this situation, know that you should probably do the same. She continues with the most dangerous time for a woman is leaving an abuser, especially while pregnant. I'm wishing you and your baby all the good vibes I can. Stay safe. And this person says also get the DV lawyer and women's shelters involved. So there are definitely steps. She thought that she had it down. She thought that she could see these red flags, but telling someone that you have had trauma and maybe what kind of trauma, people can weaponize that against you as well. So don't do that either. All right, you guys go ahead, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one, and don't forget to like, comment, and share.